Prime Minister Keir Starmer told UK automakers that the government will support them after US President Donald Trump's tariffs last week sent the industry into turmoil.
My message to you, Rachel, and my message to you today is simple. These are challenging times, but we have chosen to come here because we are going to back you to the hilt. And I think it's really significant that after the announcement on Wednesday, we had Adrian with us at 7 o'clock the next morning, and here we are Monday with you. Please read into that a statement of intent, because it is a statement of intent about how important this is for you, for us, and for the country.
We are going to back you to the hilt, Starmer told workers at a Jaguar Land Rover plant in the West Midlands on Monday, speaking alongside Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves. Starmer spoke just after US stock exchanges opened with a sea of red numbers as the effects of Trump's sweeping global tariffs continued to roil markets and fuel concerns of a global recession. In the UK, the FTSE 100 index was down about 3% 3:35 p.m., adding to the more than 6% already lost since the tariff plan was announced. The autos industry has been hit particularly hard by Trump's plan to impose a 25% tariff on cars imported into the US, forcing some manufacturers to temporarily halt production or offer big discounts. Over the weekend, JLR said it's pausing shipments to the US as it looks at ways to address the new trading terms. And introducing Starmer and Reeves on Monday, JLR Chief Executive Officer Adrian Mardell challenged the government to resolve the significant threat posed by the US tariffs.
As Rachel has said, there's no doubt the challenge, but this is a moment for cool heads. Nobody wins from a trade war. You know that. But it's also a moment for urgency, because we've got to rise together as a nation to the great challenge of our age, and it is the great challenge, which is to renew Britain so that we're secure in this era of global instability. And nobody is pretending that tariffs are good news. You know that better than anyone. 25% tariffs on automotive exports and 10% on other goods. That is a huge challenge for our future, and the global economic consequences could be profound. But this moment has also made something very clear, that this is not a passing phase. And just as we've seen with our national security and defence, particularly over recent months in relation to the war in Ukraine, now with our commerce and trade, this is a changing and completely new world, an era where old assumptions, which we've long taken for granted, simply don't apply any longer.
Starmer reiterated measures announced overnight by the government to help the sector by easing the country's electric vehicle sales mandate, including by allowing hybrid cars to be sold until 2035 and giving manufacturers more flexibility on vehicle sales up to 2030, while maintaining a 2030 phase-out for selling combustion engine cars. These are examples of what we can do at speed, but they're not the extent of my ambition when it comes to car manufacturing or any other business or sector, he said. We can go further and faster, and we will do so. The Premier also pointed to efforts to help the pharmaceuticals industry, another sector with sizable sales to the US. He announced plans to cut the time it takes to set up a clinical trial to 150 days from 250 days, as well as a £600 million, $770 million investment in health data and research in Cambridge. Starmer is trying to show that he's on the front foot in response to Trump's tariffs, and over the weekend, he held calls with international leaders including French President Emmanuel Macron and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen to discuss how to respond. The UK is also trying to negotiate its own economic deal with the US, talks that Starmer said are ongoing. Obviously, we will continue to talk to the US about a deal to alleviate the situation, he said. At a moment like this, we have to shape our future. We have to step up. We can't be cowed. Asked about the future of British Steel, which is preparing to close the UK's 2 last remaining blast furnaces, and a potential nationalisation, Starmer said that all options are on the table.